Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Game Awards season, so we're going to be looking at all of the nominees this year that were put up by all the gaming media outlets. It's going to be hosted by Jeff Keighley again this year, like usual, premiering on December 7th. I believe probably just, on YouTube and Twitch and things like that. I'll probably be watching it live on Twitch with viewers. We usually do that every year, and we'll be just watching it and having a good time. So we just got the nominees list today, and I want to talk about all the games that were nominated in each category. We're going to go ahead and also vote through all of them today on the video, and we're going to talk about some of the games that possibly got snubbed this year in some of the categories. And if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. All right, so they always like to start it off with the voting at the very beginning with Game of the Year, but I like to start at the very end, the very last one, and we'll work our way all the way back. So we're not even starting with a game this time. We're starting off with Best Esports Event. So recognizing an event across single or multiple days that delivered a best-of-class experience for participants and the broadcast audience. Now, of course, I've never been to any of these. I can't really give you guys, my number one here, because I've never actually been to them. I've never really watched most of these, to be honest with you. But, I've been doing a lot of League of Legends reaction content on this channel, so we are going to have to be a little biased and go ahead and vote for Worlds 2023 Championship, which is actually going on right now, I believe. All right, I decided to flip myself onto the other side because it looks like all the voting is on the left side here. So next up is Best Esports Coach. The Esports Coach judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2023. So if you guys have any thoughts on any of these categories as we go through, of course, let me know in the comments. I am probably going to vote for, because I have my heart with Overwatch lately, we're going to vote for Gunba, Jordan Graham, for Florida Mayhem and Overwatch. It's also the last year for Overwatch League, so we are going to vote for him. All right, next up, we have Best Esports Team. Again, if you guys know what the Best Esports Team is here, and if I'm totally crazy, I'm just voting kind of random here. We have 2 Valorant teams, 1 Dota 2, 1 League of Legends, and 1 Counter-Strike. We will go ahead and vote for JD Gaming for League of Legends. Okay, next up, we have Best Esports Athlete. This is going to be, we got League of Legends, CSGO, Valorant, Call of Duty, League of Legends again, and Apex. I know maybe a couple of the names here. I know, obviously, Faker, maybe Ruler. I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know any of these guys. So I am going to go ahead and vote for the one Apex Legends guy. There you go. All right, so now we're finally getting into the game categories here. Best esports game for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of in tournaments, community support, content updates, and irrespective of genre or platform. We have Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant. Now, I don't remember what the nominees were last year. These were probably pretty similar to last year. PUBG Mobile is kind of a surprise being on here. I have heard things about it being pretty competitive. I'm not sure what we're going to put here. I guess I'm going to have to just put League of Legends just because, that's kind of the content we have on this channel, and all of my League of Legends community might be very mad at me. So we are going to vote for League of Legends. Okay, so now we're on Content Creator of the Year. I'm going to have to say I've never watched any of these people. I've heard of Iron Mouse, I think. But a lot of these, I've heard of Cypher PK, I believe, as well. People make games. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know if that's like a community channel or something like that. But you know what? We're going to go with them. Okay, most anticipated game is our next category. We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I did grow up playing Final Fantasy VII. Hades 2, which I did love the first game. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Star Wars Outlaws, I'm a big Star Wars guy, and Tekken 8. Tekken 8's an interesting one on there. Okay, these are all pretty different categories in terms of like what kind of style game they are. I guess these are a little bit RPG for sure. Most anticipated game for me, probably out of this personally, is going to be Star Wars Outlaws, because I'm such a huge Star Wars nerd. We saw a little bit of gameplay of it. I'm a little weary. I know what I'm getting with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I know what's coming with that. I know it's going to be fantastic. Hades 2, I kind of know what's coming with that too. As long as they keep it the same as the first one, it's going to be great. But we will continue. We're going to go with Star Wars Outlaws here. I want to hear from you guys, though, for sure on that one. What is your most anticipated game? What do you guys think was snubbed in there? I'm thinking there's some other anticipated games that I wanted to maybe see in this, but I can't think off the top of my head right now. I think the category, though, it had to like actually show gameplay. It couldn't just be like only a trailer. All right, next up we have Best Adaptation. Okay, so this is recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. So we have Castlevania Nocturne. I haven't seen that. Gran Turismo, I haven't seen that yet. I was going to. The Last of Us, I did see that. The Super Mario Brothers movie, I also saw that. Twisted Metal, I didn't really care for it actually. So we are probably going to have to vote for The Last of Us, I think, here. Super Mario Brothers movie was pretty good. The Last of Us, actually, it wasn't my favorite. I thought the game did it better, and I thought that this season could have used more zombies, but I am still going to vote for it as my favorite. All right, next up. Oh, this is a big category, guys. Best multiplayer. So for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. So what games do we think came out this year that got snubbed in the best multiplayer category? I mean, there's a lot of, these are all brand new games. So, you know, Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Do we think there was anything else that was snubbed this year for multiplayer? You know, I'm a little biased. So I've only played these three here, Baldur's Gate, Diablo, and Party Animals. I mean, I had a good time with Diablo. I've had a good time with Party Animals. You know, Baldur's Gate 3, very, very, very good game. And I actually did play the whole thing co-op with a friend. I don't really consider it a multiplayer, like the experience of multiplayer itself. Do I think it was better in Baldur's Gate 3 than, say, Diablo or one of these others? I mean, Party Animals to me actually seems like the legit multiplayer game out of these. You know, Baldur's Gate, I know it says multiplayer includes just co-op, right? I guess I'm going to be biased and go Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't actually consider it like multiplayer. You know what I mean? You know, when I think of multiplayer, I don't know. I think of your party games like Party Animals, or I guess, you know, shooters like FPS games online, those kinds of things, right? But we will go ahead and vote for Baldur's Gate 3. Let me hear from you guys, though, if you think there's a game that was snubbed from this category. Best sports racing game. We have EA Sports FC 24. This is the first year that I believe they don't have the FIFA name anymore at EA. We have F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. So I'm a big Forza Motorsport guy. I loved a lot of the games. I have not played them for the past, I would say probably 3 years or so, though. I just haven't had the time. We are going to go ahead and vote for Forza here. I didn't hear any bad things about it, so I'm going to assume they're still doing a great job over there. I don't think there was anything snubbed from this unless there's a sports game that you guys think should have been here. Let me know. Next up, we have Best Sim/Strategy. So I used to play some sim games, some strategy games back in the day. You know, I used to be a big StarCraft guy, but there hasn't been a StarCraft in a long time. But, you know, I don't generally play your Age of Empires or things like that. So I'm not going to be the best person to pick here. I see Pikmin 4 got nominated for this category. City Skylines 2 just came out actually last month, but the reviews were kind of okay on that one. I think people were enjoying the first one a little bit more. I know Fire Emblem's pretty popular. Company of Heroes I've heard of. I have not heard of Advance Wars. We're going to go a little off the cuff here and vote for Pikmin 4. You know, I did play that as a kid. I think I played the first one on GameCube. So we're going to go Pikmin here. I know Nintendo can be a little biased sometimes, but we'll go with it. Best family game. So, you know, I am a solo dolo here, so I can't really say what game's going to be best with family necessarily. But I will say with my online family, we have had a great time playing Party Animals. And we are going to go ahead and vote Party Animals here. I don't think it'll win, but I am happy to see that Party Animals has been nominated for 2 categories so far. I think that's pretty cool for them. You know, going up against some like high-end Nintendo games just to be nominated seems to be pretty cool, in my opinion. Next up, we have Best Fighting Game. So I used to be pretty big into Street Fighter for a while there when I used to live with roommates. I had some roommates that were into Street Fighter quite a bit. So I'm a little bit more leaning towards Street Fighter here, but we have God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. I believe Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl just came out recently. I think the reviews were pretty decent for that. Street Fighter 6, you know, I think the reviews were pretty solid. Mortal Kombat 1, I actually heard some kind of bad things, actually, for initial reviews. And then the other 2, I'm not quite sure about. So I'm going to vote Street Fighter 6. Okay, Best RPG, guys. So I believe I've seen like a preview list of all of the nominees. I believe this is the only category that Starfield has been nominated in. So we have Starfield, Sea of Stars, Lies of P, Final Fantasy 16, and Baldur's Gate 3. Of these, I've only played Baldur's Gate 3. I've played maybe like 10-ish hours of Lies of P. I need to get back to it. And Starfield, I've actually only played a couple hours of. My rig doesn't run it very well, but I figured out a way to run it. I just haven't gone back to it yet. But, you know, there was a lot of controversy about Starfield. But I know a lot of people enjoyed Starfield. So in terms of RPG though, I mean Baldur's Gate 3 and then so Final Fantasy 16, I know a lot of people are definitely rooting for Final Fantasy 16 here. Unfortunately, it's only on console currently, so I have not been able to play it. And Sea of Stars, I've heard very good things. I've actually been recommended to play it by some of my viewers on Twitch. But back to what I was saying, Baldur's Gate 3 as an RPG was, I mean, insanely very well put together. So it has to be Baldur's Gate 3 for me. No offense to any of these other games. They were all probably very, very good. But Baldur's Gate 3 was definitely an experience. If you guys think there was an RPG in here that was snubbed, I can't really think of another RPG that came out this year. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Okay, best action adventure game. Now, this is always a tough category for me. And looking at these nominees, this is very, very tough. So out of all of these, I've played 3. I played Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil 4, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, of course, Spider-Man 2 was nominated, and Tears of the Kingdom was nominated as well. So I'm going to have to just vote for one of the 3 that I've played, but I know a lot of people are rooting for Spider-Man 2, and a lot of people are rooting for Tears of the Kingdom. So personally, I loved Resident Evil 4 Remake this year. I thought it was very good. I also thought Star Wars Jedi Survivor was very, very good. I think it was on par with the first one. I don't know necessarily if I would say it was actually better than the first one, but I did have some, there was initial issues with Star Wars Jedi Survivor in the beginning of the launch of that game. And Alan Wake 2, I just played in the most previous month because that's when it released, and it was a phenomenal experience, and I'm a big Alan Wake fan. So I am actually going to be voting Alan Wake 2 here, even though I think in terms of action-adventure game, I think Star Wars Jedi Survivor, probably mechanics and all of that, I think is better. I'm actually going to change my mind, right? Because I just spoke out loud about it. In terms of an actual action-adventure game, and I think this might be Jedi Survivor's only nomination, I'm going Star Wars Jedi Survivor because in terms of an action-adventure game itself, I think the gameplay was fantastic, right? Alan Wake 2, I was leaning more towards because of the story. And Resident Evil 4 just has great gunplay and, like, again, good story. But I think as an actual action-adventure game, I'm going Star Wars Jedi Survivor. In terms of if anything else got snubbed, I can definitely see you guys letting me know in the comments about this one. I'm sure there's another big game out there that was possibly snubbed in this category. Technically, I think that you could have considered Starfield an action-adventure game. I'm not quite sure. But there might be some other smaller games that came out this year that I'm not thinking of. All right, next up, we just have Best Action Game. So we have Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. I've actually only played Hi-Fi Rush out of these. I really enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush. I'm glad to see it got nominated. Remnant 2, I thought about getting, didn't have any friends to play with on that one, and was also came out at not the best of times because I was playing another game at the time. Ghost Runner 2 and Dead Island 2, I heard it was okay. Armored Core, I heard was pretty good if you're into that kind of thing. I know that was made by From Software. We're just going to have to vote with what I want to go with here, and I think should win based on what I've played. It's going to be Hi-Fi Rush. So if you guys have another game in here that you definitely think I could see there being another snub possibly in this category, let me know about that one. Best VR AR. Okay, I can't go through this because I haven't played it, but it was Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse. I'm going to go with Resident Evil Village VR mode. I haven't played it myself, but I did play Resident Evil Village, and that is an experience for sure. You guys let me know, though. All right, next up, we have Best Mobile Game. We have Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. So I've heard of Monster Hunter Now. I've heard of Honkai Star Rail, of course. That's on PC. And then Final Fantasy VII, I believe that also just came out recently. The other two I have no idea about. I'm going to just go with Honkai Star Rail here. I know that was pretty popular overall this year. Best Debut Indie Game. Okay, so I am a huge, big indie guy. I have heard of actually all of these games, and I have unfortunately not played any of them this year. But Cocoon is actually on my list, and I believe I was going to be playing it here within the next couple of weeks. So Cocoon is nominated, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. I want to hear from you guys if you think there's a debut indie game that was missed in this category. Again, this is debut, meaning it was created by a new independent studio, so it can't be a studio that's already created a game before. I've seen a lot of gameplay from probably all of these, probably the least from Venba and Viewfinder, but Pizza Tower, I've seen some. Cocoon and Dredge as well. I'm going to vote Cocoon here. I know some of the devs on this have worked on other games that I've liked, so we're gonna vote that one. Best independent game in general, we have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. Now, so popular game-wise, I know Dave the Diver was very popular. I played a lot of it, actually. I'd never beat Dave the Diver. And Sea of Stars was also very popular. I myself, since I've only played Dave the Diver, I'm gonna vote for that one. I could see from you guys, though, in the comments, let me know if there's an indie game that you think was snubbed for that category. Best community support, we have recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates/patches. So, just your games that they kept up to date and everything like that. So we have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. I believe Final Fantasy 14 won it last year, if I'm not wrong. I think Destiny 2 has won it maybe 1 year, maybe like earlier when it first came out around that time. So Cyberpunk definitely just had a big update recently. I've actually really enjoyed that update. I played the DLC. So I'm actually voting Cyberpunk on this one. Baldur's Gate 3, they were very good when the game came out. I think their responsiveness was great too. But I think CD Projekt Red deserves an award for their community support when it came around to fixing the bugs in this game and getting around to having the game be what it should have been at launch, right? Personally, I don't think there's any category, or I don't think there's any game in here that was snubbed. If there was, maybe let me know. I mean, there might be some Fortniters out there in the comments that think it should be in here, but I don't know. Okay, best ongoing game. Okay, so we have Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. Very interesting. So we have Fortnite and Genshin Impact. That is, and Apex Legends. Those are all added to this category. I've actually not been hearing the best of things going on with the Apex Legends community, but maybe things have turned around over there. Fortnite, I know, just had a big update, and a lot of people are loving it as of late. Genshin Impact, I don't know anything, but I know it's probably still going strong. Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy. I'm going to just have to vote Cyberpunk on this one because I'm not sure about the others, but you guys let me know if there's another best ongoing game. Maybe League of Legends for some of you that are watching. Think that should be in here, but I don't know. When's the last time League of Legends has been nominated for Best Ongoing? Games for Impact, we don't know any of these, but I will just say the nominations. We have A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Tachia, Terranil, and Venba. I did receive this game for free from the devs, so I'm going to actually vote for this one. I don't even know if I'm saying it properly, but you guys let me know in the comments about this category. Okay, innovation and accessibility. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. This one had 6 nominees as well. This says recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. We aren't exactly sure what each of these games or developers did for, accessibility, but let's see. I'm going to vote, I think, Hi-Fi Rush on this one because it's not nominated as much as some of these other categories, and I don't think it's as big as a game as some of these other ones, so I'm going to vote Hi-Fi Rush, but who knows? All right, next up, we have Best Performance. Interesting. We have Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16. We have Cameron Monaghan from Star Wars Jedi Survivor. He did a great job. Idris Elba in the Cyberpunk DLC. He also did a great job. Melanie Libbard, Alan Wake 2. I think she did great. Neil Newbin, Baldur's Gate 3. That is Astarion, which everybody and their mom had a crush on in Baldur's Gate 3. Then we have Yuri Lowenthal for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which he plays Peter Parker. This one's going to be rough. I haven't seen all of the performances, but I think in terms of an actual performance, I'm going to vote for, Astarion. Everybody's going to hate me in the comments if I don't vote for Astarion. So we are actually going to vote for, I think I'm actually going to vote for Star Wars here. This is only one of their other nominations. I think all 4 of these they probably all did a great job, guys. So I'm not sure who's going to win this category. If there's another performance though from one of your games, let me know if you think they should be nominated. Maybe another one from Baldur's Gate 3 possibly. All right, next we have Best Audio Design. Wow. Okay, so we have Alan Wake 2, Dead Space Remake, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. So this is Best In-Game Audio and Sound Design. What's interesting in this category is Hi-Fi Rush, literally the gameplay is based on sound design. So I almost want to vote Hi-Fi Rush. I'm glad it got nominated again. I'm sure all of these have phenomenal in-game audio, and I think Alan Wake 2 did a great job with their audio. So I might have to go Alan Wake 2 here. So I think that's what we're going to vote for. You guys let me know if you think there was another game that got snubbed in this one. I don't know if there would have been one. Maybe Starfield or something. Maybe Final Fantasy 16. I don't know. I actually am a little surprised that maybe that one should have been nominated. Okay, best score and music. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We actually do have Hi-Fi Rush again. I actually thought they didn't get nominated for that much, but they did. I did hear a lot online that Final Fantasy 16 had a great soundtrack. We're going to go with Baldur's Gate 3. It's hard to vote against it. All right, coming up, guys, we're almost to the game of the year. We have Best Art Direction. Now, this is interesting. We have Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. So, art direction. I think Alan Wake and Hi-Fi Rush are probably, I don't know what was done in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Tears of the Kingdom to me looked a lot like the first one, but I mean, the art in that game already is fantastic. But I personally think Alan Wake 2's art direction and the graphics and design of everything in that game were phenomenal. So I am going Alan Wake 2 on this one. Best narrative game for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. This is probably going to be the hardest one yet. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, the DLC for Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy 16, and Spider-Man 2. A little surprised not to see, Starfield in here, or, I'm sure there's another game that I can't think of right now that was probably snubbed for this category. This is rough. So in terms of narrative and narrative, I think Baldur's Gate 3 was great. In terms of narrative and storytelling combined, I think Phantom Liberty did a great job, but the story in Alan Wake 2 was just insane. The way they told the story, they did live action in that game too, guys. Like, there's an insane amount of trippiness and like storytelling in that game that I'm actually voting Alan Wake 2 over Baldur's Gate 3. I, again, personally can't say anything about Final Fantasy 16 or Spider-Man 2, but I know people have been loving those two games as well. So I want to hear from you guys definitely in the comments on this one, like what your favorite narrative was. Everybody's going to be biased towards the game that they played. But in terms of an actual storytelling and narrative, for me, Alan Wake 2 was unique and did a great job of storytelling. All right, we're almost there, guys. Only a couple more categories here. Best game direction. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, same category or same games again. So Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom. So this is for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Oh man. Okay, so this one I actually think I have to go Baldur's Gate 3 personally. Although, again, I've only played Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2. I think Baldur's Gate 3's, game direction and design wins hands down here. You guys let me know if there's another game snubbed in this one. I see Final Fantasy didn't make the cut on this one, but maybe it just didn't have a new game design going for it, right? Okay, final category, guys. Here are our Game of the Year nominations. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I'm personally I feel sorry for the Final Fantasy 16 people because I personally don't think Resident Evil 4 Remake should be in here. Now, I loved Final Fantasy 4 Remake. I thought it was great. I had a great time with it. I beat it. I also did the DLC for it. I'm a big Resident Evil guy. I played actually all of them. 1 through 8 and all the remakes, the 1, 2, 3, 4 remakes. But I just hear Final Fantasy 16 was a fantastic game, and I'm a little surprised that it didn't make it. I guarantee it was probably number 7 on the list here. All right, guys, Game of the Year. This is the one that I need to hear from all of you in the comments on. Let me know if you think a game was snubbed. Let me hear from you what the best Game of the Year was. I've been seeing a lot of people go Baldur's Gate 3. I've seen a lot of console players saying Spider-Man 2, and I've also seen a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, and surprisingly, I've been seeing a decent amount of Alan Wake 2. I didn't see too many for Resident Evil 4, and maybe not too many for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but we can't count out the Super Mario Brothers ever, right? They could snub this one easily. Again, for best game of the year, it's honestly interesting that we don't have any Starfield in here. And we also did not see, by the way, any Hogwarts Legacy whatsoever for nominations this year. Very crazy. I know that game came out all the way back in February of 2023, but to not even be nominated for any category is pretty insane. I know the game also had some issues, but I still expected it to be nominated once at least. Okay, so getting to my game of the year, I have to hands down say I've only played 3 out of the 6 here, but I'm going with one of, what I think is game of the year personally, and that has got to be Baldur's Gate 3, guys. It was hands down the most fun, unique gaming experience for me. It was insanely long. We had all kinds of scenarios. You could go back to that game and do all kinds of different things. And the scale of that game is insane. The voice acting is insane. You can have relationships. You have different relationships with all the characters. You can play with friends. You can do so much. It is kind of the ultimate RPG to me. And I am going to vote Baldur's Gate 3 for Game of the Year. Second for me, though, close second for sure, is Alan Wake 2. That was an experience of a game for me as well. It was insanely good. But unfortunately, it came out the same year as Baldur's Gate 3, so I think it's got to go to Baldur's Gate 3. All right, everybody, so my votes are in. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me know who you think was snubbed at all this year. If there was a game that you wanted to see in any of the categories specifically. This was really fun, and if you guys want to catch me watching it live and you want to just hang out and watch it together, I'll be streaming on Twitch December 7th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be watching it, hanging out and just chatting with you guys. So, and just go ahead and stop by and we'll have a blast just watching the Game Awards. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and just let me know in the comments about all these categories and what you think should win Game of the Year.